Hey everyone, I'm Sarah and I'm a health and wellness coach. I have my degree in psychology. I'm a certified yoga teacher and I also have written national programs about body image, self-confidence. So when I talk about emotional eating, it comes from this perspective. So that's why I'm telling you all about my kind of background, because I'm also an emotional eater and I really like to look at it from that inside perspective and figuring out why and figuring out the triggers. I'm just starting a new nutrition plan, big program that just came out with the company that I work for. And I'm really diving into it. And there's a whole bunch of worksheets like if this emotion, then this action. Let's deep dive into, why we emotionally eat. And it's really bringing up a lot of stuff for me. And I just wanted to kind of talk about it because I really feel like there are kind of two pathways that people choose, or like two routes. And I don't know if anybody can relate to this, so I'm hoping that maybe I'm on the right track with my theory, and I wanted to share it with you. So first of all, emotional eating is something that has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. My dad was always shown love with food. So his mom used to give him food to show him love, and then he would do the same with us. And to no fault of his own, he would bring home donuts to show us, how much he cared. He would make us some cookies and we would bake together, and there's some like awesome memories I have from that. But definitely everything was surrounded by food and always given treats. So my mom was the opposite. She was actually always put on a diet, and she had a very restrictive childhood where there was a lot of shame and guilt around food. And then once they got married and they had children, they decided, to kind of give us whatever, we wanted. So it was like food was kind of just open, the cupboard was open, grab what you want. I would do my own lunches. I would often grab Joe Louis. I would grab Oreo cookies, the cookies my dad made. I would just grab whatever, and fruit and vegetables were very rarely in my lunches. And my mom has talked to me since and been like, I can't believe I let you put that in your lunch, but in the 80s and 90s, I feel like I'm not alone, that that was just the way things were, and we weren't as nutritionally conscious as we are now, and we don't have as much of the information that we do now. So because of it, I really feel like for me as an emotional eater coming from that environment, that my anxiety builds and is a trigger for me when I don't have a plan. So because I had such an open case where it was like anything went and I could grab whatever I wanted, now as an adult, I need to know how many proteins to have in a day. I need to know how many vegetables. I need to follow a plan, check it off, and make sure that I'm following something, because as soon as I don't, and as soon as I let myself have free range, then I'm in that corner cupboard grabbing the chocolate chips and pouring them into my hand and shoving them into my mouth as fast as I can. And it's almost like I have written posts about it where it's almost like a zombie, who just goes in, grabs, and then afterwards I'm like, what did I just eat? I don't even know. It's not even registering because I'm not in tune with my body, and I'm allowing my emotions to take over, and I'm allowing my emotions to eat. I'm feeding those emotions instead of feeding my body the way it should, nutritionally, and using food as fuel. I should be doing that, and instead I'm using food as therapy. So that's where my emotional eating journey has kind of taken me. And then I was thinking that I really wonder if for people who are on fad diets their whole life, and their childhood is around, restrictive eating, like I was saying with my mom, and how, there's that shame and guilt around food that you've been brought up with your whole life. A trigger could be having that more concrete plan. So having those restrictive ways of looking at food. And so for me, it's very liberating where I can check things off and know I have a plan. But for somebody who's been on a restrictive diet their whole life, that could be a trigger where it sends them into this emotional eating spiral, right? Where it's bringing up that anxiety, and then the emotional eating happens. So that's just something that I was thinking of, a kind of a theory where it's like there's the outcome is the same of the emotional eating, but the way we get there is very different. And I really feel like in looking at that whole picture, I think it's very important, because what works for one person, and as a health and wellness coach, it's like what works for one person, I'm not going to treat them the same way that I would my emotional eating. I need to see that whole picture, and I need to see what are their triggers, and they might not even know, and that's something that we can explore together. So anyway, that was just a little something that I kind of mapped out today, and I even drew a map because I'm a bit of a nerd. But I love this stuff. So anyway, tell me what you think. Tell me what your journey is with emotional eating, and let me know if I can help.